Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th episode of the Loose Balls Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan Heffernan. To my left is Christopher Big Biggity Bean.
What up, doe?
To my right is Tristan Mabedog Millionaire.
Howdy.
And we got a good episode today. Just finished up wrapping up the Elite Eight games. Couple close games, couple not so close games.
Heartbreaker for Sparty.
Heartbreaker for Sparty. Auburn, I guess, owns the state of Michigan now. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, Sweet 16, Elite Eight. We're going to talk about all that stuff, and we're going to talk about the potential, or not the potential, but the upcoming Final Four games. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Stephen A. and LeBron James, what's been going on there. And baseball season just started. Tigers just got dicked by the Dodgers 3 games in a row. But, yeah, follow our TikTok, YouTube, X account. They all have the same handle, which is LooseBallsPod1. We're posting shorts on TikTok, shorts on YouTube Shorts, and we're going to be posting the video form on YouTube. So, Bean, talk to me.
All right, welcome to episode 12. Another exciting week of sports. And we have, for the second time ever, 4 all number 1 seeds making the Final Four. Ironically, the last time that happened was in 2008, and the Final Four was also in San Antonio. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, fellas, let's start off with LeBron James went on Pat McAfee's show, and he had a time of his life. I mean, he was calling out everyone. Wendy, he said Giannis would put up 250 points 50 years ago in the 70s. And then obviously the big one is he was calling out Stephen A. And not only that, but later that night, he posted a boxing video of Stephen A. and he was looking all flimsy and stuff. So he's like, "Bring it on, Stephen A." So what'd you guys think of LeBron's comments about Stephen A. and just him taking shots at seemingly everyone last week?
My first thought was if Stephen A. and LeBron got in a boxing match, what would the line be set at?
I think there were lines that came out and LeBron was like minus 10,000.
Yeah, I would put everything I own on that.
Put the mortgage on that.
Put the mortgage on that. It was interesting. It was interesting indeed. I kind of like it though. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really on a particular side. I just really like seeing. Maybe I'm just like a drama guy. Maybe I should start watching The Bachelor or something. I just like watching.
The Bachelor is good.
You watch the season?
I don't watch it like religiously, but whenever I do, I always seem to get hooked.
Do you like The Bachelor or Bachelorette more?
I like The Bachelor more, so there's more. Actually, I don't know. I like watching dudes and like sort of shitting on them.
Okay, but fair enough. It was interesting. The 250 points. I mean,
outlandish.
Do you guys think? Do you guys think Giannis could score 100 points in a game back then?
No, I mean LeBron's the ultimate cap artist. He went on there with a bunch of hyperbole, and it was just a narcissistic. I'm not a big fan of LeBron for it. It was like taking shots at like Wendy as well. Like I felt like it was all uncalled for.
Yeah, for the Giannis, he was trying to hype up his like own era and kind of just diminishing the 70s, which I don't get because remember in his podcast, he's like, you got to be a student of the game. You got to respect the past. And then he just goes on Pat McAfee's show, which I guess, that's, McAfee's gig is like, entertainment and kind of shitting on anyone. But, yeah, I thought that was disrespectful, of the people that came before him.
Well, also, we all know what LeBron meant. LeBron meant if I was in that era, I would score 250
exactly. Well, he
points.
was saying Giannis would get 250, so that means I would get 300.
Yeah, that's essentially what he was meaning. He just tried to say it in a less cocky way, saying like, yeah, if Giannis could do it, I could do it better than him.
It was just a suck fest for LeBron, and it sucks because I grew up a huge LeBron fan, and as I've gotten older and the more he's been, exposed to the media, it's I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. Like, imagine Jordan would never do that.
What are your thoughts on Stephen A. Stephen A. doing that Kobe Memorial
Yeah, that was a tough look as well. He did say on Twitter like he took it back and he was wrong. I don't know.
I
I feel like
that tweet. That's an all-time tweet.
I feel like Stephen A. is trying to handle it as best as he can.
You don't say that though unless you for a fact he wasn't there.
Yeah, it was a bad look for sure. I mean, I'm not a Stephen A. fan either. The whole thing is just sort of kind of corny to me.
Yeah, have you oh no, wait, where is it? Oh no, I sent it. You sent one earlier about the awful announcing. And then I saw this tweet right after you sent it in the Twitter group chat. He goes, "My apologies and clarification. I misspoke in hour number 1 of At First Take today when I intimated that LeBron did not attend Kobe Bryant's memorial. I corrected myself in hour number 2 when I acknowledged he was indeed in attendance. My mistake should not have happened. Sorry. Oops. Should not even broach that subject. It was not my main point. I retract nothing else that I said. Have a nice day."
Crazy. I mean, I feel like did he go on TV? I mean, he said in hour 2 he mentioned it. Did he apologize? I feel like that needs to be because that's fucked up, man. Like saying like LeBron, like questioning him going to like a memorial service that has nothing to do with Stephen A. I just feel like it's fucked up, man. Like you can't just like LeBron apparently, like the reports that he just didn't want to be photographed there, which goes beyond what I thought of LeBron. I thought he would be. I can't picture him like saying that, but yeah,
it is interesting that all of this like controversies going on just as LeBron is relaunching his podcast.
Steve Nash.
That is maybe it's just a coincidence.
Did you guys see the trailer? I think you sent it, right, Hef?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the trailer, he was like, "This is not a head coach tour. I'm not trying to make Steve Nash a head coach." But no, Stephen A. Like, if you're gonna call out LeBron, you should get all your facts right before, because then you're just looking like an ass clown.
Yeah, exactly.
LeBron didn't even have to say that stuff about Steve Nash becoming a head coach because he was a fucking horrible head coach.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing that podcast for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like LeBron just gonna be teaching Nash the whole time. Like, oh, this is what a pick and roll is.
I don't know about that. Steve Nash. Steve Nash was a hell of a player.
I'm just fucking around.
Better player than head coach.
He's still salty that he won 2 MVPs over Kobe when Kobe should have won both.
I am salty. But also, it's the same thing. Michael Jordan, better player than he was owner.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Anything else to take away from the NBA this week, boys?
I'm getting ready for... I'm strapping in, getting ready for the playoffs,
Oh, shit, I forgot. What did you think of Taylor Jenkins? If you haven't seen the Bucks with like 7 or 8 games to go in the regular season,
Memphis
fired
Grizzlies.
Their head coach, the Memphis Grizzlies, and Taylor Jenkins. And, so he was there 6 years, and now he's out. Like, I don't understand personally, like, just wait till after the season. But have you being a Morant guy, what did you think of the firing?
Yeah. Well, my initial thoughts, I told you guys off the podcast, like he had to do some Emu Doka shit to be fired 7 days away from 7 games away from the playoffs. Like, you don't do that out of the blue.
Right.
Like, there had to be some shit going on for a while that was just kept under the rug. I mean, I did hear about some shit where, like, as Bean said it too, like the star gets blamed every time.
Yeah.
Ja Morant was like saying like his shoulder has been hurt all year and he shouldn't have been playing ever. And Taylor Jenkins was forcing him to play. I don't know if that's true. I did see that from like a source who had like a couple 100,000 followers, but I don't know. I mean, it does hurt as a Grizzlies fan because I can't see them doing anything now. They're just gonna be playing street ball out there.
Yeah.
And it sucks because they were having a great season. Compared to last season, their injuries screwed them over last year. Get Zach Edey, and now you have a full-blown good starting lineup. And now you're just fucked over because Taylor Jenkins is gone. And I don't know how many of the players were for that or against that. I don't know. There hasn't been much that came out really about it, but you know, it sucks.
Yeah,
I hope that's not true. That report Ja Morant of, you know, being upset with him because he wants them to play. It's like, your coach is going to want you to play, the best player to play. Of course he does.
Exactly.
So I hope that's not true because it's a bad look for Ja. But yeah, it's a weird situation. Not many details coming out about it. I don't know if they're screwed for the playoffs though, because I feel like the NBA is the one league where like coaching is. I mean, obviously coaching is important, but it's not as important as like the NFL. So we'll see. I don't know. I think they'll still be competitive, but it definitely doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it like firing him, but I just don't. I mind like when it happened. Like I said, just do it in a month when you're out, or a couple months if you make a run.
Or maybe it does help. Maybe there was a big rift in the locker room, and you know, addition by subtraction sort of thing. Who knows? Like nobody knows. It's sort of keeping under wraps.
I do think it's a big deal for this year. I do, because 100%. I do think coaching matters, because you look at the Pistons, for example. Monty Williams gets there. They suck. He gets fired after 1 year, and then JB Bickerstaff comes there and triples their win total in the first year he's there. I don't think that's all the players. I think that also has to do with him being a great coach, because he did the same thing in Cleveland.
Sure.
You know, it might not matter as much, but it definitely still does matter who your head coach is.
It definitely matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but like I said, if
compared to other leagues,
right? Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. No one knows what the situation is. So maybe there was a huge rift between head coach and the players, and you know, maybe the players are able to play more freely with him gone. Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point, Maben, it's like. Yeah, Ja didn't play most of the year. Like, of course, you're going to want him to play. Mm-hmm. And clearly he was on the hot seat, whether it be from the front office or his players. So he's going to want his best squad available. And it's not like Ja was playing every game. He was, you know, out here and there. So, yeah, I'm clearly – I mean, the reporters are going to do their job. There's going to be some information leaked eventually. But, yeah, why just not wait? Like – right now they're matched up against the Lakers, which ironically they played the Lakers in the first game without Jenkins and gave up 134 points, shocker, and lost. So at the earliest, your season's gonna go another month. So I just don't understand why they did it 2 weeks before the playoffs. But again, something terrible must have happened inside that locker room.
Yeah, he had to like bang a chick or something. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, he could have got really horny. You know, horniness always wins, right?
It does always win.
You know? So,
maybe he banged Ja's mom.
Oh, and then Ja was trying to come back.
Yeah.
And be like, yo, like my shoulder, like making that shit up.
Maybe brought some guns.
That's a cover?
You know he's known for that.
He was strapped up?
Maybe.
You think he was strapped up?
You get rid of this guy, or I'm going to...
Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to come back...
I mean,
with some ammo.
Exactly.
I mean, he does have the leverage. He is a good player. That's all that matters.
He is. Players are always going to win over the coaches. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially in the NBA.
Yeah. So the only other thing in the NBA I had was Jokic's ridiculous shot.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
The other day, right before half, that was insane. So, yeah, NBA. I mean, we're 2 weeks away. Like I said last episode, on Wednesday. We're going to be having our good friend Patrick Abraham on in 2 weeks, so we're excited for that. So, yeah, time is ticking on the NBA season, and we can't wait for the playoffs.
So excited.
And the Stones first team ever.
Yeah, to triple their
win total from one season to the next. Maybe the best story, maybe in sports at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The turnaround that they've had, and they're winning games right now without their best player. And Cade Cunningham, they just beat the Cavs, the best team in the East, without Cade and without Tobias.
Yeah, and obviously without Jaden, who's still hurt, and and Cavs were fully loaded. It's not like the Cavs took the game off. They played everyone, and the Pistons won by 11. So
and it's a sign of a good team too, because the Cavs made a run there at the end, and Donovan Mitchell was going nuclear, and I think they made it a 2-point game, and the Pistons responded with a 9-0 run. So they're showing. I think they're showing a message to the league where it's like you do not want to play these guys in the first round of the playoffs.
Did we ever talk about Shaq?
I don't think so. Maybe vaguely.
Yeah,
The Shaq comments.
Fuck Shaq.
Yeah, he's not a ball knower. He doesn't know ball.
Chauncey Billups is apparently the Pistons head coach, guys. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. I can't believe. I just want to say this real quick. Him saying that and then saying like he was acting like he knew the Pistons, Cade Cunningham, blah blah blah, like really good play, and then he goes Chauncey Billups. This is why the ratings are going down in the NBA.
Well, and once he gets called out, he immediately goes, "Yeah, I don't watch Pistons basketball."
Yeah,
He just watches the highlights.
He goes, "I like Cade. He plays at his own pace. I like Beef Stew. He's my favorite player." Like, he doesn't. I bet you he hasn't even watched one bucket of Beef Stew this whole entire year, which annoys the hell out of me. Like, let's get people who actually love the game instead of just complain about it the whole time.
Right.
It just pisses me off. Like every other league. Every other league has players who actually care about the sport and just don't bash it the whole time. Pisses me off. That's my rant for the day.
Love it. Love the passion.
Yeah,
It's my league, man. I love it.
It is.
It's my baby.
Going on off the Pistons win total, tripling their win total. They're the only team, obviously, to do that. The Charlotte Hornets did it, or I think they might have been the Bobcats. They won 7 games on the 2011 season when the league was shortened, so they were like 7-58 or something like that. And then they won 21 games the year after, but obviously they only played 60 games that year, 5 games. So, in an 82-game season. Beef stew right in the middle.
Skirmish going on in the Pistons game right now.
Speaking of beef stew, man.
There's going to be some suspension.
Oh, Sasser just threw a punch, I think.
Look at how long Gobert is.
Hey.
Gobert was on the other end of that pile and he was grabbing people off.
Hey, what did I say? We need Stu in the crowd. He's getting close.
Pistons are scrappy, man. We get under everybody's skins.
Yeah. Dude, imagine a playoff series against the Pacers, bro.
Nas is on the ground.
Holy shit.
Looked like Sasser threw a punch.
Beef Stew is being held back by the whole Pistons coaching staff.
Yeah, it's going to take a few people to hold him back.
Nas Reed is getting held back by players and the coaching staff.
Over under
and security.
Over under 3.5 ejections here, boys.
They got to clear.
Probably
Pistons
more.
got to go to their
blood.
bench.
A little blood on Holland's.
I love Ron.
Yeah,
I love
some
Ron.
blood right there.
He must have got punched. Obviously, clearly.
Detroit. I love it.
That's what they're made of now. Beef Stew is pointing to his jersey right now.
How'd that start?
I don't know.
Show us the replay.
That was fucking nuts. Should we move to Sweet 16?
One other thing before we get to college hoops. Alex Ovechkin scored his 890th goal. He's now 5 away from the all-time scoring record and 4 from tying Gretzky. Maybe we briefly mentioned it before, but kind of tell the crowd like how you got in love with Ovi, and he's about to beat this record pretty soon.
Yeah, so when I started watching hockey, I think it was maybe 07 or 08, and the Caps were on a 16 or 17 game win streak at the time when I started watching. And ever since then, I've just always been a fan of. I grew up just a fan of the greats, so like Ovi and Brady, LeBron. And ever since then, I've been watching the Caps, and they went on their run in 20. I think they won 2016 when they won the Cup. Wasn't able to get over the hump for so many years, past the second round. A lot of losses, heartbreaking losses to the Penguins, and finally got past them and won it all. And sort of went through a rebuild, retool the past couple years with Backstrom going down. And now they're one of the best teams in the league and on pace to win the President's Trophy. So they got a good chance, I think, in the playoffs, and we'll talk about it more in an NHL preview. But I like their chances in the playoffs this year, especially coming out the East. The East is a little down this year.
Yeah, obviously they got the former champs or the reigning champs in the Florida Panthers, so they're still good. But you can never count on
But their best player right now, Matty Tkachuk, he's out since the All-Star game.
Yeah, you can never count on the Maple Leafs.
I can count them out. They're choke artists.
Or excuse me, you can count them. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, or you can never count on them to make a deep run.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I meant.
I do like Tampa this year. Tampa looks. They got rid of Steven Stamkos, but they're playing really good hockey.
Mm-hmm. Carolina is usually decent, but they kind of flame out relatively early.
Yeah, and they traded for Rantanen and then had to trade him away because he wouldn't re-sign there. So that's it's such a wild situation going on over there.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the East is a bit down. I like the West a lot more. The Stars, who got Mikko Rantanen, I really liked the Stars last year, and I bet on them to win it all last year. They fell a little short, but I like them this year. Winnipeg, they always seem to have a really good regular season,
right?
But sort of flame out in the postseason. We'll see what happens this year.
You got the Golden Knights.
Can't count out. Yep, the Golden Knights as well.
Avalanche.
They got championship pedigree. Same with the Avs, and can't count out McDavid either. So
yep, yeah, the Oilers, and then a team out of nowhere, the St. Louis Blues. They won 9 in a row.
Yeah, they're hot right now.
They're getting hot, and they don't have too many players left, but they got some championship DNA from 6 years ago. So the West is loaded, and the East is more of a
wide open. The East is wide open.
Exactly. So we'll be talking about Ovi these next 2 weeks too, because I'm sure he might get it before the season ends.
I think he will.
And I don't know if you saw this. His last game, their last game of the year is against Pittsburgh.
I was just about to intervene and say that because I heard that on PMT.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is really interesting. Crosby just sitting there.
That'd be so sick if he gets it against the Penguins.
Yeah.
And then they win the cup this year too. And then he would have to retire.
Who, Ovechkin?
Yeah. He already said that he's not gonna play after his contract ends.
Yeah. So he's up there. He looks old as hell. But
he does. He looks way older than he actually is.
But he can still score.
He can. That's for sure.
And yeah, like I said last week as well, we'll be having Chris Robert on in I think 3 weeks because the NHL goes a week longer, I believe, than the NBA. So we'll have him on talking NHL playoffs, and we might even be talking about Ovechkin breaking the record with him as well. So
yes, sir.
Lots going on in the sports world right now. Obviously, the big news is March Madness. We have our Final Four, all the 1 seeds: Auburn, Duke, Houston, and Florida. I said it earlier, but for the second time ever, since the field of 64, which was I think 84 or 85, all 1 seeds have made the Final Four in the same year. And the last time was 2008, and the Final Four was also in San Antonio, and that was probably, ironically, the best Final Four that I've seen, at least the most firepower. In UCLA made it. They had Westbrook and Kevin Love. Memphis made it with Derrick Rose. Coach Cal was their coach. Kansas had Mario Chalmers, who hit the big shot to send the championship game into overtime, and they eventually won. And then UNC had Tyler Hansborough. So it was and UNC won it the year after. So just a loaded Final Four. What did you guys take away from the Elite Eight games and also the Sweet 16 games?
Ryan?
Well, there was a couple takeaways. I thought there was a couple great games in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Biggest takeaway is there's a lot of complainers about everything, every sport, every game, every anything, because I really enjoy this March Madness. Everyone's complaining there's not enough parity now because maybe NIL, like there's no 5 seeds in the Final Four, no 10s in the whatever. Like, it's just annoying. I'm tired of all this nonsense. But going back to the games, I loved the way Florida played in the Sweet 16, and I think they played the game of the tournament against Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech played in the top 2 games of the tournament so far.
Yeah,
with Arkansas choking away that lead, and Darian Williams hitting that clutch shot at the end of the game.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, really happy with how the tournament's gone so far. Sure, I feel like there was a lot of games where there was a team that was just coming back, and then it was just always a 5-point, 6-point lead with a minute left, and they never really got it that close. I feel like there was a lot of games like that. But, yeah, I was really happy with how everything went out. I think Duke is a freaking juggernaut. I can't see that. Like, I was not as high on Duke just because, ACC, I wasn't really sure. I didn't start watching them until halfway through the year. But, man, do they look unreal.
Holy moly.
Just
a update on the Pistons situation. 7 players ejected.
Bickerstaff.
6
players
6
and
players.
JB. I don't know why JB got ejected.
JB throw a swing?
He must have cussed out the ref.
That would be hilarious. But, yeah, it was a great weekend of sports. Michigan took the L against Auburn, which sucked.
Yep, like you said earlier, Auburn owns the state of Michigan, beat both Michigan and Michigan State. Florida was interesting because I don't know where I stand with Florida because I feel like they got outplayed not only in the Texas Tech game but in the UConn game as well. They got outplayed for the majority of both those games, but they found ways to win. Walter Clayton is maybe the clutchest player on the planet. He just makes clutch plays every single game. They sort of took care of business against Maryland, but they cannot dick around with Auburn. As we saw in the game, we just watched Auburn and Michigan State. Like Michigan State they start off so slow, and Auburn is once they smell blood, they're just going to go off, and they never really had a chance to get back in that game. I don't think they cut it closer than 7 until late in the game.
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting matchup. They played each other in the regular season, obviously. I think they split in the regular season.
Yeah, let me check.
I'm not sure.
But I don't know.
I know
man.
Florida beat them
That's
once.
going to be a great game.
What I do want to say that does concern me, as I'm an up-and-coming Florida Gator fan, is Darian Williams and Toppin. They were having their way in the paint against Florida.
Yeah.
And we know what Janai Broome is going to do against them. Will they not have an answer for him either? They weren't doubling at all for the entirety of the game, it seemed like, until the way end. Mm-hmm. So I am concerned because I feel like, I don't know. Are they going to be able to stop him? Because Janai Broome's a better player than those guys.
Yeah, he is. And props to him. He showed a lot of grit against the Spartans. Was injured. Looked like he hyperextended his knee and his arm. And he came back and hit a big time 3, just coming right into the game. Props to him. He's showed up in this tournament big time.
Yeah, he's against Michigan State. I think he had 20 and 11 at half or something.
Yeah,
18 and 11 at half. Mm-hmm. He's been again double doubles. It's his job. I don't know. I guess it is his job. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, they played one time and Florida beat them 90-81 in Auburn too. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different scores for Florida were in double digits, and another player with 9. And Chinelu, who started, he only played 15 minutes, but he only had 4 points. So, a lot of depth. Baker Mazara they held him to only 6 points. So, Miles Kelly had 22 and Broome had 18, led the way for Auburn. So, I think it's gonna be a similar game scoring wise. I think it'll be closer this time.
Yeah.
But a lot of firepower in that game, and Florida has obviously had 2 close games they could have lost, but give them credit. It's this tournament it's all about surviving and advancing, and they've done that to a T. I tweeted it out yesterday. They've had so many no, yes shots. To close out the game yesterday, and they made them. Thomas Houck had I think a 3, and then Walter Clayton led the way with 30 points. So clutch shot after clutch shot, he had it against UConn too. So I got to give them credit. And Auburn, it's funny because Michigan the other night on Friday night, I think played a little bit more competitive than MSU. Obviously, MSU lost by 7 points or 6 points. They kept it closer at the end, but Michigan was at one point was up by 9. MSU the whole time was down by 9 at least.
Yeah, it was never really in doubt, that game.
I mean, if you have eyeballs, Michigan played them harder,
Definitely.
in my opinion.
Definitely.
But what are you guys' thoughts on Michigan State? What's next for them?
I think it was a great season for Michigan State. I mean, obviously the not much expectations going into the year, and I mean Izzo got everything he could out of these guys, and they played so hard for him. It sucks for the seniors, Akins and Holloman and all those guys. It's a tough one, and it sucks to see. Fuck Auburn.
Fuck Auburn?
Yeah, I think they're going to beat Florida, but fuck them.
I was going to say this. For the 2 Final Four games coming up, Florida, Auburn, Houston, Duke, which one are you most excited for?
Houston, Duke for me. I think that's going to be incredible. I said it before the pod to you guys. I think whoever wins that game is going to win it all.
I think you said that before while you were making your bracket. I think you were
wow.
I think you were saying like Houston, Duke, like that if that matchup happens, that game's going to be insane.
Yeah, I guess I'm consistent then.
Yeah, good for you.
But yeah, I think both those teams, great offensively and great defensively. It's going to be a tough matchup, and I think Houston's the only team in the country that can stand a chance to slow down that Duke offense. It's just they just hit you in so many different ways. You got obviously you have Cooper Flagg who does it all, and then Con Knippel, who's been huge these past couple games. I love his game. He plays at his own pace.
He's had a very good tournament.
Yeah, and Tyrese Proctor too, who's shooting the lights out. And you got Malawash to deal with. They throw a lob up to him. It seems like every other play. And they play smothering defense. They shut down Alabama after their record-setting performance and really just made them uncomfortable the whole game. So, I mean, impressive. Duke's been so impressive, but Houston too. I mean, they've had a couple close calls, but today that was another impressive defensive performance from them against a good Tennessee team.
Defensive clinic for sure.
And they had a close one against Purdue, and Purdue sort of got screwed in that game. They had a couple calls not go their way, but a beautiful basketball porn for that out of bounds play. That was incredible.
Did you see the video that Purdue likes to peel switch on those type of inbounds plays? So Braden Smith will go to the cutter around the corner to the baseline 3, and he'll go and guard him. And obviously Michigan State does it a lot too. So obviously Houston did their homework and had the inbounder go right to the hoop.
That's so sick.
Calvin Sampson after the game was saying that inbounds play, they have like 3 options, and they took away the second option on that peel when, like you said, when Braden Smith switched. Yeah, and they ran it beautifully. He was saying that they were running the play before in practice the day before, and ran it to perfection.
That's almost like how the Patriots in 2014 were practicing that pick play when what's his name Malcolm Butler intercepted the ball. It's great execution, great coaching, great preparation, and shout out to that game was basically a road game for Houston, which was the number 1 seed playing 4-seeded Purdue because it was in Indianapolis. So gritty win, and then obviously today, like you said, beating Tennessee, holding them to 50 points. We kind of talked about how Tennessee is hot and cold, and just 15 points in the first half for Tennessee is just absolutely crazy.
It was 15?
Yeah, I think it was the lowest 1 or 2 seed has ever scored in a half.
Yeah, they were up, 34 to 15 and a half, and Houston just coasted there. At one point, Tennessee got it to 10 points, but Emmanuel Sharp made 3 threes. They made 4 threes in a row. Sharp had 3 of them. So, like we said, this Houston team has their deepest team, and I think, like you said, Maven, this is the only game where I can see Duke struggling. They wake up and they score 80 points in a game. Yeah. I don't think that's the case. At least if they do, they're going to have to earn it. They're going to have to play their best game offensively this year. Yeah. And that's, that's with them having 10 games, winning by 30 or more, and then obviously putting up 100 points multiple times. So I think that's probably the best game. But, again, you also have on the other side like we said, we have Auburn and Florida, which is, an in-conference game, meeting in the Final Four. So I think we're definitely set up for one of the best Final Fours, and obviously it's been chalky. We haven't seen too many close games, but again, this is setting up for one of the best, if not the best, Final Four
Yeah,
in a long time. What else? Any other games that? Oh yeah, with Texas Tech, and you mentioned it. Have what I loved about it too, especially at this level for college, where you can, you can settle on and give up shots. In who was it? Darren Williams for in the
Final
game
few seconds.
Yeah, in the Sweet 16 against who did they play? Oh, Arkansas. I think he was like 6 for 24 or something like that. And
8 for 26. I'm looking at the stats right now of total.
Yeah, he was like 5 for 23 or something before that the shot to make it to send it into overtime. And it's like you're going to trust your shot, you're going to trust your mechanics, and then he took the big shot in overtime as well to the game winner. So I know you said Coach Cal kind of cost him with that timeout. What did you take away from that game?
Yeah, I don't know if he thinks like they'll get an extra timeout next year or something, but I would have taken a timeout. I don't know what he was thinking, but
well, he was obviously trying to catch him off guard, which didn't work.
Yeah, it was a bad. I mean, if that's what he's thinking, it was bad because it was often inbounds and they're all back. So I don't really know the thought process over there. I'm sure Cal's. I don't know. Maybe he's happy he has a timeout in his back pocket for the offseason. I don't know.
I mean, still, shout out to them though. I mean, they did beat Kansas, who was the they didn't have the season everyone thought they would, but they still were the pre-ranked number ones. But they do have talent. And then they also beat St. John's, and
yeah, it was a good first year for Cal.
Yeah, I feel like it was a great first year.
It's a successful year.
I think they'll be.
I mean, they were the better team for the first 35, 36, 37 minutes of that
Especially
game.
they started off in the SEC 0-4 or 0-5.
0-5.
So they salvaged a year, and it was a good year for Cal and Arkansas. One thing I do, a lot of people talking about how chalky it is and maybe not happy that there's a bunch of upsets. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather have this where you have, all number one seeds and the best teams in the country than something that happened a couple of years ago when you had FAU and San Diego State and who else was there?
Loyola Chicago, maybe?
No, that was 2018.
Who else was there?
The Final Four was UConn, FAU, San Diego State. Who did UConn beat in the I can't remember. But I remember that year. I'm like, this is going to be a lot of upsets because it was the complete opposite of this year.
Yeah.
Of the number one seeds were weaker, and that Purdue lost in the first round to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah. And UConn, they're a great program now, but at that time they were a 5 seed, I believe. So
the 4 seed, yep.
4 seed. So I'd rather have this where we have all big name programs. You got a couple blue bloods in there, and you have the best teams in the country rather than all Cinderellas.
Yeah.
So I'm looking it up right now.
Who did UConn play?
I'm looking it up. The
Miami,
Florida Atlantic, San Diego, UConn.
Yeah, that Final Four, at least the FAU San Diego State was Lamont Butler buzzer beater, so that was a good game. But UConn blew out everyone in that tournament.
Right.
Excuse me, and they blew out everyone last year too. So I don't think we're gonna get blowouts in the Final Four this year.
It's gonna be 3 incredible games.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait. There was another thing I wanted to say about Texas Tech. Yeah. It was funny because you mentioned when they played Arkansas. Arkansas was the better team for the first 35 minutes.
Yeah, they were just bigger, more athletic, faster.
Yeah, and then the next game, Texas Tech was the better team for about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Florida won that game. So back-to-back games where
the better team
the
lost.
Better team, the team who came to play from start to almost finish, lost.
Goes to show it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish.
And that goes for a lot of things.
And it's make or miss. Like Florida wasn't. They made everything down the stretch in that game last night, and Texas Tech couldn't hit anything on Thursday against Arkansas. And then they got hot. Anderson made a couple big threes, and then like we said, Darren Williams, who was ice cold, made 2 of the biggest shots.
Yep.
And then JT Toppin went to work in overtime. So, yeah, it was. Texas Tech had an interesting tournament, and obviously they gotta love the direction they're going for sure.
Yeah, the coach said after the game that they're a program altering year for them.
Yeah, and that's with them not too long ago, 6 years ago, going to the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously Chris Beard left to go to Texas, and then I think they went to the Sweet 16 one time after that. But this was their deepest run since the championship game appearance.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think this guy's gonna pull a Chris Beard too. So,
No.
they're here to stay for sure.
Also, Tennessee, out of like 118 years, no Final Fours.
Rick Barnes.
Yeah, he's been to one in his almost 30 years of coaching. That was 2003. So
Who was he with?
I think. Oh no, it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Texas, maybe. I'm not sure.
I was completely wrong about that game. I really thought that was going to be the best game in the Elite Eight.
The line too was interesting because it was
2.5.
It opened up at 3.5 and it moved down. So people obviously were on Tennessee, and they just ran into a buzzsaw.
2 very similar teams, both
Yeah.
very good defensively, and their offense was both best offenses in years that Sampson and Barnes have had. But obviously Houston was the number 1 seed for a reason, and what is their record now? They started out 4-3, and I think they've only lost 1 game.
Well, their 4 losses, of their 4 losses, they only have 3 of them were in overtime. So they
Right.
are. I feel like they are talked about less than the other 3 number 1 seeds.
Yeah, they're 34-4, so they're 30-1 in their last 31 games.
They're such a good team, and they just. We've talked about it before. Like, they are the type of team that they don't need their best player to be their best player. And you look at against Purdue, LJ Cryer had maybe the worst game possible, and Uzan sort of stepped up in that game. They're always going to have the defense with Kelvin Sampson, so it's going to be an incredible matchup with them and Duke. I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to both games. Obviously, I mean all of us are, but I'm more looking forward to Florida Auburn. I just like watching Janai Broom play and Tahad Pettiford. I said like a couple pods ago, I was like, this guy's a beast. Obviously, I mean that was probably a common knowledge, but I mean, I just like watching him just shoot a ton of threes, and he's just so fast.
And he comes off the bench for them too, so it just goes to show you how deep they are.
Both teams very deep.
Both teams, like Florida is like freaking Clayton, Richard, Howe. Who the fuck else do they have?
Chinalu.
Chinyelu.
Condon
Condon got hurt, but he should be back.
Yeah, I'm missing some other big time guy. I mean, obviously we say Clayton, right?
Yeah.
Elijah Martin.
Richard and Elijah Martin.
Aberdeen off the bench too. Aberdeen. Elijah Martin had a great game against not Texas Tech, the team they played before that, Maryland.
Yep.
I think he had about 15, 20 points in that game.
Man, he's got big game experience too. He was on that FAU team.
Okay.
So yeah, it's funny, or not funny, but I mean, I guess it could be funny, but I was completely wrong on that side of the bracket. I obviously picked Florida to lose early, and then I picked Auburn to lose to MSU today. But I picked Houston and Duke to play each other. So that was like the only thing I got right on my bracket.
Hey, 2 for 4.
Yeah, not awful, but again, it's 2-1 seeds, so you're not really going out on a limb there. But you weren't on our pod last week, obviously. So what was your biggest winners and losers in your bracket?
Biggest winner as in like what I was right on?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. I was on Florida really early. I was on Florida. Like, they weren't even top 5 favorites.
Yeah.
When I said I'm going to put them in my finals, in my bracket. So I'm going to choose that as one of my winners. They played a tough game against UConn. They played a tough game against Texas Tech. Blew out Maryland. I mean, I know you guys are saying that there's a lot, like that was the toughest bracket, toughest region, and they just kind of they went through it, and now they're in the Final Four. So I think I still think they're going to win the national title. I think it's going to be Florida. I have to say Duke. I have Houston in my bracket, but after watching Duke against Alabama, like Alabama kept driving. I mean, they were shooting a ton of threes, but every time they drove to the paint, they were just getting clobbered. Cooper Flagg was freaking blocking everyone.
Maluak was a monster.
Come on, Maluak. Like, they're just unreal. Yeah. Like, Cooper Flagg goes on the bench, and they're just still
very good.
Still very good. Like, they're plus minuses. But my biggest loser, I would have to look at I think my biggest loser was Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa State was probably my biggest loser. I had them in my Final Four just because I watched a lot of their games, and I really liked their team, even them missing Gilbert. But, yeah, they got blown out against Ole Miss, and I was not expecting that whatsoever. I thought they would definitely get past Ole Miss, and I thought it would be a great game against Michigan State. I was completely wrong about them. But, yeah, you guys were right. It goes to show, like, I mean, you're missing one of your best players. Doesn't matter if you have who you got on the bench, like Curtis Jones.
Right.
So, yeah, I was wrong. Probably biggest loser, Iowa State. Biggest winner, I'm still going to say Florida because I hopped on pretty quick.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Iowa State, even with Gilbert going out, was their defense was starting to fade down the end. Obviously, they gave up two 90-plus point games to BYU, and then obviously a 91-point game to Ole Miss as they lost. So their defense, has been their bread and butter under Otzelberger, and they failed in March. I had them going to the Sweet 16, and they were obviously they lost right before that. So, but if Otzelberger, maybe Maryland gets him, maybe.
Interesting.
If you haven't seen Kelvin Willard, it was a whole saga. Maryland's AD, I think, earlier this month went to SMU, and a lot of reporters and radio shows were asking Kelvin Willard if he was going to be back next year, and he's like, I haven't really thought about that. He's like, I haven't talked to my agent or my wife, which he was probably lying about that. But
I mean, he took the job like a day later.
Yeah, he took it at. I looked at my phone at 3 a.m. last night, and he basically left overnight.
I'm glad you brought it up, Bean, because nobody could handle a situation worse than he handled that.
Yeah,
like, just be transparent.
Sometimes Will Wade's approach was the best approach.
Perfect example where he was totally transparent, where he was saying, like, yeah, I'm going to take this job, but I'm here for my guys now. And it's like, I'd rather you be straight up and honest than just dodging the questions. It was a complete dodge when someone asked him about it, and he just started talking about, like, Walter Clayton and how to stop Florida. Like, he just, like, just face the music. It's okay. I mean, we all understand what's going on. It's a different era in college basketball, college sports, and I would rather have a guy who is going to tell me what's going to happen than just be wishy-washy.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see that half? Were you following that saga at all?
I wasn't following it much, but I was watching PMT, and they were talking about it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. I mean,
it's a big get for Nova, and
I think shit's just fucked up. That, like, shit's always going on in, like, postseasons,
Right. Well, and Maryland wasn't. They clearly weren't committed to their athletics program. So, like, you have a good good AD and a good coach, and they both leave during and after the season. So clearly, I think this was more on Maryland's commitment to the athletics. Obviously, Willard could have handled it better. I'm not saying he couldn't have, but now he's going to a premier program, and he don't forget he came from the Big East. So
where did he come from?
Seton Hall.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was his best Maryland team, 27-10, Sweet 16. But I think even though the Big East obviously didn't have a team in the Sweet 16. I think they've been the winners in terms of the coaches they've gotten in the offseason.
Definitely.
So I think the Big East they're going to be more loaded than they have, and obviously they've had a lot of national title winners in the last 10 years.
Yep. They're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. So have you? I think you said you're who you got winning both those games, right?
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I got Florida winning. As I said, my biggest concern is obviously, shocker, Janai Broom. What Darian Williams and Toppin were doing to Condon and Howe in the paint, you can't just overlook that. And Janai Broom's a hell of a lot better than those two players, in my opinion, this season.
Yeah.
So, and he's more experienced. What is he in his fifth year?
Yeah, fourth or fifth year.
But, if they can just contain him just a little bit, I think Florida's got this game in the bag. But it will be, a battle of depth. Both teams got a ton of depth. It's going to be a great game. As I said, Duke-Houston, Duke's a juggernaut. I want Houston to win the game, but I don't think they will. I'm just done going against Duke right now, even though I don't, I don't like watching them. I do like watching them. They're really fun. I'll say that, but I just don't cheer for them.
It's the Coach K effect.
Yeah.
But I think that's turning around. I think it was kind of easy to hate Duke with Coach K, but I feel like John Shire's a likable dude.
He is.
Like Cooper Flagg's a likable. Him and Con Knipple are likable guys.
Did you hear what Shire said in the post game?
What did he say?
It was with Tyrese Proctor. He was crying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was mentioned. The media asked Shire about Tyrese Proctor, and then he was just getting choked up, saying like he could have went to the NBA last year.
Yeah.
And he decided to stay, and he said he's like one of his favorite players he's ever coached.
That's great.
I love when coaches get like emotional.
Yeah, it's raw. It's human. That's what we want. And it ties back to sort of the Kevin Willard, situation where it's like, just be. It's okay. Like we all know what's going on, and the fact that you're like sort of hiding this is just not. It's not likable at all, and I think it's a bad start to his career at Villanova. In terms of the games, like I said earlier, I think Auburn and Florida. Part of the reason why I'm picking Auburn is because Florida won the game earlier this year. And I think Auburn is just like you mentioned, Hef, the issues that Florida had with JT Toppin and Darian Williams. It was concerning, and now they got to play maybe the best player in the country in Janai Broom. And I just don't. I feel like Florida is. Props to them for getting here, and they've won some really close games. But I don't feel like they're playing their best basketball right now. And I think Auburn is, and they're sort of trending upwards. It's hard to say that any team's trending downwards. It's in the Final Four, but I don't know. I just feel like Auburn's rolling, and it's going to be tough to beat them. And so I'll go Auburn in that game. And then the game of the tournament, I think, is Duke and Houston. Like I said already, whoever wins that, I think, is going to win the national championship. So I'm sticking with Duke. They are, I picked them to win in the bracket, and they've been nothing but living up to the expectations. So I'm going with the Dukies to win that game and to win it all.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I got right was Houston and Duke matching up. I picked Duke. I have Duke winning it all. In my electronic bracket, obviously, I picked MSU to win when we filled out our brackets a couple weeks ago. But I'll stick with Duke. I'll probably root for Houston, but I'll just stay with Duke. And then I got in the other game, I'll pick Auburn to get revenge against Florida. Auburn is obviously they were shaky. They were lost 3 or 4 coming into the tournament. First ever number 1 overall seed to lose 3 or 4 and be the number 1 seed in the bracket. And clearly they've put that mini spurt behind them, and now they're one of the last 4 teams remaining. But I do think obviously both games are going to be fantastic, right down to the wire, and maybe we'll even see an overtime game. So I'll have Auburn and Duke, and then I'll pick Duke to win it all. I'll stay with my pick.
I do have this funny story when I was in Florida last week. I mentioned it to you guys. It was when Florida was playing UConn, and me and my girlfriend Alexis. Shout out Alexis. You're probably not watching this, but
She picked Florida, so
No,
shout out her.
she did pick Florida too. Did win the bracket last year, but we were at the pool, a pretty cool pool area, and there was and this guy was working the food area, giving it and he was watching the game on his laptop while I was ordering a quesadilla, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm a diehard Gator fan." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "See you watching the game?" He goes, "Yep." He goes, "It's hard to work and watch this at the same time."
Sure.
And then we go back. We're probably 100 feet away from him, and I keep looking back when UConn hits a big shot, and his arms just keep going up, and freaking out, and he's pacing around,
Living and dying with every possession.
Pacing around in the freaking small ass shack he was in. It was hilarious, and we wanted to order chips and queso, but we didn't want to interrupt him watching the game. We were like, dude, he's a diehard Gator fan. Alexis is like, come on, it's his job. I'm like, I don't know, man. We'll order it after the game.
Nice.
But it was funny. It was funny. Bonding about our Gators.
Our Gators. Yeah, that's a great thing about college hoops. It's like NBA, you can be down 15 and you're still in it. College hoops, it's it is every possession you're living or dying by.
Exactly.
So, no, it makes for a fun watch if you're an outsider, but if you're a fan of that team, it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited that all these number one teams have lived up to the hype, and I'm just hoping, like we said, just good games and the best 3 games that we will ever watch. So, any other takeaways from this weekend, boys?
No.
I don't have any takeaways, but did you guys want to play this quick mini game real quick I got for you?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So, March Madness is coming to an end. NBA playoffs is coming up, and I was thinking about the NBA, and I was looking at the mock drafts going into next year. I'd like you guys to predict this NBA 2025 mock draft by Jonathan Wazerman. His top 10 picks. Would you guys do that? Do you guys think you could name off the top 10 picks?
All 10?
Yeah. First 3 are pretty easy.
I feel like the first 4 is sort of consensus.
Yeah.
With Flag, and then you got Harper, Dylan Harper,
Ace Bailey,
and the other Rutgers guy, Ace Bailey,
Trey Johnson.
VJ Edgecombe's probably up there.
VJ Edgecombe's 3. So we got, you guys just named the top 5. We got Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper 2, Edgecombe 3, Ace Bailey 4.
Trey Johnson 5.
Actually Trey Johnson 6.
Oh, is it how do you say the guy at Illinois? How do you say his name?
Yakachonis.
Yakachonis.
He is not. No, he's not on this.
Really?
He's not. He's
really
he's
like his
11.
game.
He's 11.
He's 11.
So number 5. I'm not even gonna give you guys clues yet. I feel like you guys might. If you guys need one, I'll give you one. So you need 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 of them, I think you guys should get pretty quickly, I would say.
Concanipple.
Yeah, Concanipple.
Malawach.
yeah, sure.
Malawach, yeah. Those are the 2 I was talking about. Malawach 7, Knipple 10.
I was gonna say they got to be freshmen, so they were.
Is there any non-freshmen?
That I can't answer because I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh, there is. I know there is 1 freshman for sure. There's probably 2. Judging by his age, They're one is one's 20 years old. The other is 19. The other's 18.
Is Richardson on there?
Jace Richardson's 8.
Okay.
Wow, that's crazy. No, not crazy, but 8 is high. I think that's the highest I've seen him go. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on these guys.
Is there any Texas Tech player on here?
Oh, McMillan?
Nope.
No, McMillan.
So one One is in the SEC, the other's in the Big Ten.
But it's not real. Will
Both
Riley.
teams made the March Madness tournament as well.
It's not Will Riley. Derek Queen.
Derek Queen at 5.
Yeah.
And then number 9,
Wow,
Said
number 5.
SEC.
SEC point guard, 18 years old, 6'4", 182.
Is
Is it the guy from
Pettiford?
Baylor? Oh, no. Baylor's in the Big
Not
12.
Pettiford. Point guard. No, yeah, it's not
made
Baylor.
the-
It's SEC.
Not Ole Miss.
Oh, is it
A&M?
Arkansas?
Oh, Boogie Fland?
Nope. He was their team. I think was the 8 or 9 seed.
Missouri? No, Missouri was 6.
It's not a
Arkansas.
Georgia player, is it, Maben?
Oh, the Georgia. Oh, but he's not a guard, though. Asa Newell, I think.
He plays for Oklahoma.
Oh,
Ooh.
Fears.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeremiah Fears at
Yeah.
9.
I
Yeah.
would never have guessed that.
No, never.
Yeah.
Not a shot.
Yep. So that's the top 10. Well, top 11 too, because you guys
We got
got
6? Got 6 of those?
Yakuchionis. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
got 6 right. Yeah, you guys
I
got
think
6.
Yaka Jonas is going to be a really good pro.
I would have put
surprised
him
he's
in
not
the top 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got him 11.
really like his
Asa
game.
Newell 12.
I would say I'm taking him over Fears. If I'm telling you that right now.
Same here.
This guy I've never. Colin Murray Boyles from South
They
Carolina.
didn't make the tourney. Liam McNeely at UConn. He's going to be good.
Yeah, white boy.
Noah Asangi from Rate Farm Ulm.
Oh, I like Carter Bryant a lot. He played well for Arizona.
And then,
Oh yeah.
oh, wow. Oh, we don't have a first round pick this year. Pistons?
Pistons
Yeah, we give
now.
it to the Knicks.
What a year to not have a pick.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of lit. But yeah, thought that was a fun mini game.
Yep.
Yeah, Carter Bryant's a good 3-and-D. He's probably
Yeah, I
gonna
think
be one
he'll
of the
be a
best
good player
3-and-D
in the
guy.
league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yaka Jonas, though. I'm a big fan of his game.
Yeah, shout out Yakachonis. I wish him and Ro Wiley would stay, and same with Jace.
It would probably be
but,
smart for all 3 of those guys to stay. But
yeah.
I
At least
doubt they
2 of
do.
them are going to go, if not all 3.
yeah.
All right, wrapping up with a little baseball talk. Our Detroit Tigers went 0-3. Tough series in L.A. They played Thursday night, opening night on ESPN. Lost a thrilling 5-4 game. Ohtani went yard, shocker. Freddie
Shocker.
Freeman, I think, hit a home run. Maybe that was the second game. Mookie Betts went yard. Oh, Teoscar Hernandez hit a big 3-run homer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just a loaded lineup. Tough loss on Friday night in extra innings.
Yeah.
Game 2.
Yeah, game
Looked
2.
like he was safe. Looked like Margot was safe.
So I saw. So we actually the next day and the next morning. I guess it would have been afternoon at this point. We got a replay look from the league offices. Actually, my boss did maybe, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll send you the angle that we determined that he was out," and you can clearly see he tagged the pant leg of his left ass cheek, I think it was. He just tagged it.
Did it show where his hand was?
Yeah, his
in
hand
that-
was still in the air because
Okay.
then he got his foot, obviously his right
Yeah.
foot, but
Because if
when
it was off the foot, I thought it was pretty clear
he
that
was safe.
But
Yeah, but
if he tapped that ass, then it's a different story.
he tapped that ass right before his hand was his hand was in midair, unfortunately. But they still obviously had their chance. They were up 5-3 in extras, and
Yeah.
it's just the Dodger lineup, man. It's
Tough to beat an all-star team.
Yeah, it is an all-star team.
It's just such bullshit, man. I mean, they're like their payroll this year is like over half, like over.
It's like 400 million.
I think it's like over
maybe 500
half
million.
500. I think it's like
Yeah, half a
550
billion.
years. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't get it out of my mouth.
Yeah.
but it's just unfair.
Well-
And isn't that not even including Ohtani because he's like making nothing this year? So
Well,
does that count
yeah.
that too?
Well, no. So Ohtani, he only makes $2 million a year, but it's still $46 million on the Bucks instead of $7 million. So they're saving $24 million. But yeah, they're ridiculous. You said it this morning. What's the best team? It was a team 100 and almost 20 years ago. The Cubs, they won 116. And the Mariners in 2001 won 116. But I think the 1998 Yankees team is going to be more comparable because they won 114 games and they won the World Series that year. So I don't really. If they stay healthy and they still have some pitching that they're going to get back to, like Ohtani hasn't thrown yet.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Clayton Kershaw, I know you all boys know that name, and he's not even pitching yet. So
unreal, bro.
Unreal. They're crazy.
What would be your record prediction
for them?
Yeah.
I think they can break that record. I wouldn't be shocked if they won 120 games. If everything, and the thing is too, they're in a tough division. The Padres are good. Diamondbacks went to the NLCS or World Series, 2 years ago. Who else am I forgetting? The Giants are decent. Like, they'll be around 500, but still, it's tough to play. And then I'm forgetting. Oh, the Rockies are ass, but all the other teams are good. So yeah, I think I do think they get the record if everything goes according to plan.
Just so annoying because they're spending so much money. Meanwhile, the Tigers, how much are they spending? 100 million or something?
Yeah, right around there.
Like, I just hate how it just comes down to the owner and how much they want to spend. Isn't that essentially what it is? It's just annoying, just frustrating because think about those like small market teams. They just gotta rely on drafting well. It seems like, right? Like no one's gonna really sign to them.
Yeah, they'll get like a couple free agents, but like another thing too is like Ohtani obviously went there last all season, and they have now three of the best Japanese players too. That last year after Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, they had the best Japanese pitcher in free agency in Yamamoto, and then this year it was Sasaki. So like that also helps the Dodgers too. So it's a little bit of everything, but I mean, there's no tax threshold. There is there's no salary cap threshold. There's obviously a big tax, but like, if you're the owner and you love to spend, you can't really fault the Dodgers for.
So who are their top when healthy? Who are their top four starting? Like, who are their top four pitchers when healthy?
That's kind of I'm not gonna lie, half a loaded question because they're so deep. But Ohtani's obviously up there. They have Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and
did you say Kershaw?
Yeah, well, Kershaw is not. He's older. He's not even he's like their sixth best pitcher at this point.
Unreal.
And they have Glasgow too, who's usually hurt. We talked about him last week, and they also have maybe we talked about him, Dustin May, who's really good, but he's coming off Tommy John. You missed it, Hef, but last year he was coming back from Tommy John, and he was working his way back, and then last year he was eating a salad, and a piece of lettuce cut his throat.
What?
Esophagus. He had to have life-saving surgery.
I thought you were saying it like fell out of his mouth and.
No.
Like cut through his throat.
Yeah, I was like, how does that happen?
No, he was chewing it. So, but yeah, he's really good too, and he's not even back yet. So they're loaded roster. Obviously, they got in their lineup at the beginning of their lineup. They have 3 Hall of Famers in Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freeman.
And then they got like Max Muncy and
he's like
Teoscar
Hernandez is their 4-hitter.
I'm excited to watch baseball this year.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'll get more into it once the NBA playoffs are done. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. I watched a good amount of the Tigers games last year. Not all of them. It's hard to watch all of them, but I'm excited to see how things play out.
Yeah, and then one other topic, the big topic right now in the MLB is the New York Yankees. I don't know if you guys saw they had
the torpedo bats.
Yeah, the torpedo bats. They had 8 or 9 home runs yesterday. They had 20 runs. The first 3 pitches of the game, they hit a home run off their I would say former teammate, but two of the guys that hit it are it's their first year in the Yankees. But Aaron Judge hit one off Nestor Cortez, who's a former Yankee, and he gave up 4 home runs in that inning. And they had 15 home runs in 3 games this weekend. Oof. So, if you haven't seen, basically what the Yankees did is they took part of the bat and they made the barrel thicker So I read a little article. There's an MIT physicist explains the creation of the torpedo bat. So let's see. Really, it's just about making the bat as heavy and as fat as possible in the area where you're trying to do damage on the baseball. I really don't know. Like, obviously MLB came out and said it's illegal.
Aren't there other teams that use them as well?
Yeah, so the Twins, there was a picture today. They already had the bat. They were I don't know who the player was, but so yeah, the Yankees have a genius MIT physicist who is on the payroll. He invented the torpedo barrel. It brings more wood and mass to where you obviously hit most often in the barrel. The MLB has rules on bats like what the weight drop can be, what the density of the wood can be, and how long the barrel can be. Most guys are using bats that aren't even close to maxing out the barrel size. When he measured the barrel compared to what's allowed, he was shocked. So, yeah, and obviously baseball the last 10, 15 years, it's very analytical. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of crazy, like, not how like it's just starting to become a thing. So
yeah,
it's ironic that the Yankees are doing it.
Yeah, and they're playing in the shortest ballpark too. So like, not only do they have big ass barrels they're hitting dingers off of, but they're hitting into the short porch in right field.
Yeah. Well,
I love it though. More offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said last week, maybe it's hard. It's the hardest era to hit in because the pitchers are throwing 100 and they got nasty off speed. So whatever can create an advantage, they're going to do it. So I'm sure we'll see it this week. More like we saw today, the Twins started doing it, and I'm sure by the time we record our next episode, half the other teams are going to
Tigers get on it.
Yeah, let's
get some
do it.
Torpedo bats.
Amen.
I'd love to see Torque with a torpedo bat.
Oh yeah, he'd hit 50.
Yeah, shout out.
Might hit one over the stadium.
That'd be sick.
And kill a pedestrian or something.
But yeah, shout out Torque, who's off to a good start.
Yep.
We just got to start winning now. But thank God, I said it yesterday to you, Maven. 159 more games to go, and we don't have to.
No
play
more
the
Dodgers. Thank God.
We don't. What about? Don't they have to come to our place?
Nope. That's just you're thinking of the NBA and NHL.
All right, so the season starts now.
Yes. Yes, those are warm-up games.
Yeah. So.
Great.
Yeah, but anything else you boys would like to add?
No. I'm good. We all set?
Yeah, go ahead, Heffa.
Yeah, that just about wraps up episode 12, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys tuned in the entire time, thank you guys so much for watching. I do want to mention again, Loose Balls Pod 1 is our handle for TikTok, YouTube, and X. X is where we let you guys know when our pods drop. We retweet them and everything. So, yeah, I mean, next episode we'll be talking about the Final Four, and we'll be talking about the Masters is coming up, too. We'll be talking about that as well. And the NFL Draft is coming up, too. So, in the later episodes, we'll be talking about that as well. But, yeah, I mean, the sports never end. You know, the conversations are just getting started. And we just can't wait to keep dropping episodes for you guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, my name is Ryan Heffernan, Mabe Dog, Tristan Mabe Dog Millionaire. Some people call him Maben. Christopher Big Biggity Bean. Peace out, everyone.
Deuces.
Peace and happiness.
Dun, 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 dun.